We're going to learn more from Emily Westerfield. She is in to talk about her company she co-founded, Caring Dreams. She has been a surrogate mom and the co-founder of this company that are helping others build families. So thanks for joining us today, Emily.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, first of all, we were talking earlier, and I'm like, what do people think? Do they think you're crazy that you're a surrogate, you know? And how did this dream start for you to be able to help people build their families?
So we had a cousin on my husband's side who struggled with infertility for many, many years. She was able to have her son naturally, and then she tried over and over and over again and kept having miscarriages. It was heartbreaking to watch her have to go through that and to not be able to have a sibling for her son. And it kind of sparked a little bit of interest. I knew nothing about surrogacy at the time, but it sparked a little bit of interest in me wanting to learn, like, how could I help her? How could I do something other than just kind of sit here and support her and listen? So I started doing some research, started looking things up online on everything in the community of how I could help, and surrogacy was one of those options. And it just, I spiral. You know, I just continued to go into this rabbit hole online as we do, and just continue to learn more and more. And I brought it up to my husband, and it was a big, heck no, you're crazy, no. But then I continued to just educate myself and have the information that I needed to be able to have a grown-up conversation with him and say, hey, like, I'm serious about this. I'm super passionate about this. I would love to be able to do this for her. What do you think? And finally, he either, you know, got sick of me nagging, or he just finally understood, like, this is something I really want to do for someone else.
Right. And that was the start of it, right? And how many people have you helped since?
I have helped 4 families, 8 surrogate babies. So I've had 2 sets of twins. I had my very first couple in Cleveland. I actually had their 3rd child for them. So she struggled with her pregnancy, ended up having to have an emergency hysterectomy with their 2nd, and they wanted to have 3 children. So I was able to have their daughter for them, their 3rd daughter, and their family was complete. I then moved with a couple to Michigan and had a set of twins for them, 2 children for them, another couple from Michigan, and I had a little girl for them, and they had 1 little boy embryo left, and they really wanted to give it a shot and try it and give her a sibling. And he naturally split on his own, as many times embryos do in IVF pregnancies. So he created his own little brother, and I carried a set of twins for them, identical twin boys. So I had 3 of their children, started, built, and complete their family. And then another couple in North Carolina. I had their first little girl for them, and then a little sister for her just in June. So.
And in between that, you had your own children.
All before. I had all my
before
kids.
those?
Yes.
Okay, you had them all before that.
Yes, I have 3 of my own children. They are 13, oh boy, 11 and 10. So I had them complete first just because there's so many risks that could happen with any pregnancy. I didn't want to lose my ability to have, you know, build my own family or complete my own family. So I had my own children, then decided to move forward with surrogacy.
And I think one of the big questions everybody's like, how can you do this? You know, how can you give up the baby? But explain that.
So the baby's not mine. The intended parents have to create those embryos first, and whether they use their own genetics or they need a donor egg or donor sperm, however they create those embryos, they create them, they'll do their genetic testing on them to make sure that they're viable, and then they're transferred into me. So there is no genetic tie. It's not my genes being used. There's none of my DNA with the babies. And the entire process itself is so different. It's about me and the parents and giving them the family that they have dreamed about so much. It's completely different. My husband's not with me at appointments, and it's the whole process is just, we're there for them. And we're doing this because they're not able to, and whatever that means or looks like for them. So it's been a miraculous journey, a huge part of my life, but I'm super blessed to be able to do what I've done so far.
And so, you know, you founded this agency, Caring Dreams, because you're trying to help others, right? So what do you need more surrogates to help with the agency? What does the agency do, and how, you know, tell people more about that?
I need all the surrogates, yes. Because honestly, the ratio of intended parents to surrogates is probably at least 8 to 1.
Really?
And there's so many amazing women in the world who want to help, but you have to qualify then after that. Like, they have that giving heart and that desire to help others, but then you have to qualify. You have to have a nearly blemish-free history, pregnancy history, prenatal reports, delivery records, all of those things. You then need to pass a psychological evaluation, a criminal background check, drug screens, insurance verifications. Like, it's a process. And so getting through all of that, not to mention the commitment, right? Like, even getting started and going through the process, There's many steps that you need to go through even before you get to that fun part of matching with parents. So we can make sure that the candidates are qualified, they meet the criteria, and then they're able to help others. So I need lots and lots of surrogates and people wanting to help, yes, but also I want to be like that support system for intended parents, because they come to me looking for surrogates, looking for qualified people who can help them, looking for, you know, someone to do all of the logistical and administrative and back-end things that need to be done in order for them to then proceed with their journey.
You talked about how you help people in Michigan and North Carolina, but you're right in Salina, so you're local. So
yes.
If people have questions, want to help, want to try to start their family, just contact you, right? And your organization, you can help out.
Yes. And, you know, I'm not for everybody, I'll be honest. And whatever that looks like for them, even reaching out, my main goal for everybody is to just feel like they have the resources, the information, and the education that they need as they're getting started. I'm not a salesy person whatsoever. I don't feel like you should be selling in this industry. However, I want them to know that they have all the information to make whatever that next step looks like for them.
Sure.
So I am in Salina, I'm local. Surrogacy is becoming more and more popular in this area, but I work with intended parents all over the world. And then all of my surrogates and egg donors, we have an egg donation program. It's all in the United States.
All right, good to know. All right. And so to learn a little bit more, also help offset some costs for the people involved, you do have a fundraiser coming up in February, right?
Yes, champagne and charcuterie is my baby, another baby. And we hold it in February every year. It's at Salina Roamers, and we hold this fundraiser to help with the overwhelming costs of surrogacy.
Sure.
It's a very expensive process, anywhere from $90,000 to $130,000, $40,000, $50,000. It's extremely expensive.
Does insurance cover anything?
It does.
Okay.
So for the surrogate, after a pregnancy is established, she can have an insurance policy to help with all the prenatal care, labor and delivery. But in the beginning, when they're seeing a specialist, when they're doing all of those upfront pieces of the screening, it's not covered.
So this helps out then, right, with some of the costs?
Yes, it does. And so every year is a different theme. This year is Las Vegas Casino Night. We're going to have a great time, and I hope that it's open to the public, and I hope that lots of people show up and help support all of the parents out there who dream to build their family.
Right, yeah, people want those children. Well, thanks very much for coming today. It's really nice to meet you.
I appreciate you.
All right, don't go away. Noon Edition continues in a moment.